before the Easter long weekend. And for many of you, it's the month of educational updates, conferences, business expo, webinars, software updates, etc. So I hope the session today is not going to be an overload of information for you. I will try to be light on the contents and more on the practical side. So, okay, let's. So you have questions, as Sam mentioned earlier. You can post them on the computer or the chat, and we'll come back to it later in the after the sessions or during the questioning time. Just give me a moment. Okay, so it is quite common these days to not regularly, or quite common for us to hear or see the words digitalizations, automations, and digital transformation, not only for business, but more so as the progress is led by or initiated by the government. The commencement of Standard Business Reporting, or SBR, since 2010 is a clear example of the Commonwealth initiated program. Initially as a voluntary program, now mandated, and is known as the Petitioner Lodgement Service, which is not only applicable for tax agents, but also for all petitioners as well as taxpayers, and progressively spreading that to all aspects of regulatory and compliance reporting. It just means digital lodgements or digital communications with the government. So SBR is a technology-based Commonwealth program referencing the use of technology to collect and reuse data by SBR by various government departments and or business process, which leads to digitalization, generally generating the reports for various use, and this is known as the natural business process. So how does GovReport fit into this SBR journey? We commenced SBR development since 2008 and released our first resolution in line with SBR commencements to the public from July 2010, and as the SBR lodgement and reporting portal for business, BAS and tax agents to securely prepare and submit compliance reports to the respective government agency, including the tax office, all the state and territory revenue officers, and ASIC for financial reporting. So why did we start it? From the early days, we hear taxpayers and tax petitioner issues in meeting compliance. Not only from the technologies available at the time was not reliable, the process was difficult to follow. We learned that they were in desperate need for more efficient, cost-effective, and more streamlined system to manage their business and personal affairs, from the simplest to the most complicated arrangement. Those that have been a member of GovReports from the beginning would agree with me that we continue to develop and enhance our services over the years. Our objective is to provide secure and flexible data management services. Our server is hosted locally in Sydney and Melbourne. We integrate and map our data source to make your workflow process easier. It is a direct end-to-end service available at your fingertips. In terms of features, our service is basically you get a lot of auto pre-filling, not only from the ATO, but also from major accounting software and payroll software. We integrate with all the major accounting software, and of course, depending on the forms, you get a lot of pre-filling from the ATO for some of the mandatory or regulatory data. You can prepare a compliance report for all your clients, regardless of whether they use software or don't use software. If they don't use software, you can data entry it in. If they use software, you can upload the file or export the file, depending on whether it's desktop or cloud-based software. It is, as we have inbuilt office practice management tool, so the workflow is probably the best practice, but we'll go through, we won't go through some of that today, but we'll go through the workflow process, reporting workflow process later in the demo. You can view all your clients and lodgement with ATO in real time and in one page. It has inbuilt digital signature. You can save and resume options. So depending on, you can work on multiple clients at the time. As you know, being a BAS agent or a tax practitioner, sometimes clients don't give you all the information that you need in one go. So, you can start it and then you might have to stop and work on some other clients. This GovReports enable you to do all of that, and you can see the progress of your work on them. And some of the best features that we hear back from our clients, existing clients, is that the ability to amend and revise lodge reports capability. So it means that, for example, lodging amendment of PAYG, which is quite common, or taxable payment annual reports, clients, it's not, and I'm sure it's not the tax practitioner's fault or the BAS agent's fault. Sometimes clients don't give you all the information, or they give you the insufficient information, you lodge it and then realize that something is missing and you need to amend it. Of course, if your practice is bigger, there is also secondary users management facilities. These are some of the features that we currently have. Our system works well with Firefox, Chrome, Safari, not too well with Internet Explorer, as it is in much older versions of the Internet site. So it's best that if you use GovReports, do use it on Firefox or Chrome or Safari. You need, as an agent, you need registered tax practitioner board BAS agent's number or tax agent's number in order to register as an agent, and of course the ABN and related business details. So without further ado, I'm gonna go through the demo. Just give me a moment. Let me just see. Okay, so this is our login page. Now, just as a disclaimer, this is the demo account and it is in the testing environment, so it's not in production environment. It seems to be slower because, unfortunately, even though it's a testing account, we still have to interact with the ATO for pre-filling of some of the information and or showing you how to, when it's lodged, what does it look like and so forth. So it might be slower than the production account, but it just gives you a visibility of what it looks like. Also, I've been told today that the testing environment from the ATO is not working, so we'll basically do our best to show you the functionalities. Okay, so this is the dashboard when you log in. Of course, you can customize depending on the users. You can customize the dashboard to how you want to see it, how you view it. Like I said, you can go in. These are the widgets that's currently available. You can remove some of them if you don't want to, and that will be removed. The news. Oops. You didn't see it earlier, but that news section is now being removed from your dashboard, and of course, you can put it back on if you want to. It's quite easy. And of course, you can rearrange your dashboard to how you like to view it. Oops. I'll put the profile right up. So over here, you got the outstanding reports. When you set up with GovReports, make sure you do set up the outstanding reports so that this is one of the features that reminds you when the activity statement is issued by the ATO, regardless of whether it's. So when the ATO issued the activity statement for any entities, the system can synchronize with the ATO and then list out the activity statement. So when it comes to BAS period, you would have all your clients' BASs listed here to remind you these are the ones that you haven't started. These are the ones that you haven't done it. If you start doing it, it would shows that the status of it, and you can simply just click onto it and continue with the work. I'll go back to the dashboard. It also show the overdue. So if clients have, you haven't been able to attend to the buses because clients have not given you the data, it will show you the overdue, and these are the overdue buses that that you haven't done. As I said, if it's overdue, you can see that it's currently this for this client. There's one that's currently as an offline draft. There's some of these that haven't been prepared, and so forth. And you can just simply just go click onto that to prepare it, or simply just delete it if it's not your role to, or it's not your responsibility to prepare that bus because it was client didn't request for you to do so, etc. So like I said, it shows you the status and you can go straight onto it. But otherwise, these are, if you got work in progress, there are other reports that you have started and but not finalized or have not lodged. It will show as save reports. Anything that you've lodged previously, it will show your total lodgements, and of course anything that you've lodged today, it will show you that, so that you can come back and review or send the clients a copy, etc., to follow up on the payments. Of course, it has, like I've said, it has inbuilt practice management tool. So if you got your system or account set up, it will show the amount of jobs that you have for today and upcoming jobs, etc., and a lot of follow-ups. But because this is a testing account, so I haven't used it to fully implement the workflow. So there's nothing much there. But if we have an opportunity to come back later, we can show you through the workflow or the features of the practice management tool. Like I've said, the lodgement it shows you the lodgement reports and your productivity or your workflow over time. So if you got 30 clients, that should be the consistency should be 30 reports lodgements per month, or etc. And of course due dates and anything, because we had inbuilt digital signature. As I said, if you send to clients for digital signature, when when the report has been signed, it will come back here and it will show that it's been signed and validated. Of course, through GovReports, when you prepare the reports, it has to be validated in order to be automatically set up as part of the workflow, the digital signature workflow. Of course, you can send the reports without the validations, but it's just a manual. It's another way around it. But for best practice, we prefer that it has to be validated or finalized before it's and justified with the ATO before it gets signed by the clients. So that's the dashboard. As I said, a little bit of settings at the beginning. If you do set it up properly, then lots of things will work well. All the process will work well. Like for example, email setting, you can also set it up so that all emails, digital signature, and anything you send from GovReports can also be sent from your own email. So like I said, we just go make sure that the email is working perfectly right. We tested earlier. Yep, so it's working well. So you can also check whether the email that you sent out, or digital signature, anything that's sent from the system to clients or sent out to anyone, you can check the email log from here, so that if it's failed, you know that something is wrong. Normally, we find the fail status is because the clients or the users have changed the email password and have not updated onto the system, and so it failed. And so if it reminds you, if something like this happens, just need to find out whether you update the password to make sure that it's now set up onto GovReports. When that's done, so you can the workflow. So I'm going to try to do an activity statements for now. So you can go straight from here. You can simply type in your client's name if you want to go straight into it, and select the clients. From here, you can, when you click on the clients, it will take you to the client's profile. Then you go to the forms and select the forms that you want to prepare for the clients. as I mentioned earlier, it is slow because it is our testing environment. So for the purpose of testing, let me make sure the period is correct. Yep. Okay, so as I said, this is the normal way, but if the client, the ATO is offline, like it is with the testing environment, you can do it offline by clicking here, but for today, we're just gonna do the normal process. Let's list all the activity statements, hope it's working. Oh, it is working. Okay, so for the period that I've selected earlier, it lists out all the activity statement that has been issued for this particular client from the ATO. These are the ones that haven't been started or haven't been processed or haven't been lodged by the clients. So you can go in and select the ones that you want to work on. For in this case, oh well, I'll just pick it on anyone. Once you select the activity statements, it then asks you whether you want to do it manually, data entry it, or upload the bus link, MyOp bus link, or the import from MyOp account, right? We are also integrated with Reckon One, Xero, QuickBooks, and Sage, and any other software. You know, for example, the bigger ones, they tend to also export in CSV. We also accept that as well. So for the purpose of today, we're going to do it manually. Just make sure that all the information that you have there is correct. Once you're happy with that, these are the pre-fill from the ATO. Nothing can be changed there. As a BAS agent, you would have the figures to fill in the details here, but for today's purpose, I'm going to just assume that for this particular client, we did not make any sales or have any activities during that month. So we're going to have a blank or 00 everything. And today's date is the 29th. This is where, as a BAS agent, you have to declare that you are preparing the activity statements for this particular client. Then it will come into sections where this is assuming that you already have the authority to lodge on your client's behalf. And this is, it also show, you know, you cannot get the activity statements for the clients if it's not on your ATO portal. Once you're happy with that, like I said, I was advised that it does not work today. But let's hope it is. You can save as a draft, which means that it's not complete. You can pre-lodge. Now, pre-lodge means it's just going to test with the ATO. Then you got save and validate. That means it will save and it will also validate and check with the ATO to as well to finalize. Or then you also have the option save, validate, and send for signature. But I was told that it might not be working today. Normally, I would use the fourth option, which is this option. Save, validate, and then send for signature. But today, I'm gonna do save and validate just to make sure that it's working. If you select the fourth options, it would take you straight to the digital signature if it's finalized. Yeah, it's not working. It won't be validating. So I'm just like I said, if you select the fourth option, it would take you, it validate with the ATO, then it would take you to the digital signature with the attached activity statements. I'm not too sure how I'm going to do that. So let me just save as a draft. Once you save and validate it, it will come back here. But this is where the activity statement that we just prepared earlier, it's now listed in your save reports. But because it was not validated, so the status is not valid, it's a draft. But if it's valid, for example, this is the PAYG payment summaries. So if it's valid, just ignore it, so that it's just assuming, you know, that this is an activity statement. You can click on it to see the actual reports, or you can email it to your clients, you know, as a draft. This is, like I said, this is without the digital signature. But if the status is valid, you can then send it for signature from here also. this is, like I said, this is a longer process. The other one is shorter, but since it's not working, so we're just going to take an old valid reports that we have right now and then send for signature just to show you the process. Once you're familiar with the process, it would take really minutes to prepare the reports for your clients. You can see the report is attached. If you need to upload your own letter of engagement, worksheets, or work papers that you normally attach, or letter of authority, you can also upload your own documents here as well. I don't have anything, so I'm just gonna assume this is good enough. This is basically your client's details. Now, when you add your client's details in GovReports, you need to put their contact details so that when you're using the digital signature, it will automatically pre-fill the information from here. But otherwise, you can go in and change the details as well, but it won't change the details on your client's profile. You can't, if for some business clients that you might have, they might have partners, they might have the business partners, or husband or wife who are not in the business but might have influence on the business, and you know, they might want to see what their partners is signing. You can also add them onto the list and you know, give them the role of maybe not the person that's need to sign it. So for example, I'm just going to put in okay, and you can then also, like I said, give them the view only. They do not need to sign the paper. And of course, if for and like I said, for some business, it might not be it might not be the business partners or the partners. It might be the accountants who wants to view the document or have a copy of it, or they might give advice to the clients. You can also you know, have this sent to them as well, and send them a private message that the client has requested for the activity statements to be sent to them for a copy, etc. That this is a private message that particularly for that particular recipient that you want to put in the, you know, that you want to send a message to. But for today's purpose, I won't be sending that to this person, so we remove that. And of course, you can change the subject. If you don't like the subject, you can change that. You can also save it, because for a lot of BAS agents, we do activity statements, and we have a sort of like a message, you know, the instructions advising the client what to do, etc. So you can save the message if you. This is a general message. So let's just call it. Well, let's just call it. You can save it for subsequent use. So let's just say, hi. You can use this message for subsequent for other clients as well. Just say, make sure you mark it as save message, and this is the message that you know will come up back next time. If there is also because all compliance reports have a due date, so if there is a due date, for example, if this activity statement is due next Friday, so you've got exactly 8 days to lodge these reports. Sometimes the clients might not come back, you know, to you on time, so you might want to put in, you know, like a reminder, and say reminding them that this document will be, or this activity statements will be, you know, due in 8 days, and you will send them a notification that the document will expire in 1 day, which means that if they don't come back to you by that date, by the 8 days, they might get a fine. So create reminder. So that will we will send it. We'll send a reminder to them, perhaps one day after the first email that's sent out to them for signature, and repeat every 1 day. So in other words, the reminder will automatically sent to them immediately after today, and it will send to them every day until the 8 days. And if they don't come back to you on time, then you have an audit trail that the client did not sign it, and they might face the fine, and you have records to prove it later on if there is a dispute. So once you're happy with the message and the recipients, you can click next. Now you need to mark the signature where you want the signature to be. So this is assuming that this is where you want the client to sign. As I said, I don't have the activity statement. This is the PAYG payment summary. But if you're happy with that, place the signature there and send for signature. Simple as that. Once it has been sent, it will show you the list of all other documents that you have sent to clients. In this is in digital signature, what you have sent, what you have signed, etc. This is basically digital signature dashboard. But of course, you can go back to GovReports and then Bird's View. We can go back to the sale report, where we were earlier, and we can see the status is now changed. It's now valid and processing. That means it's now processing, waiting for pending for signature. I'm now going to go to my email to show you what it looks like from the client's point of view. Just give me a moment. Now, if you are going to trial out GovReports, just make sure when you're testing as I do right now, you do send it to if you send it to yourself, just make sure that when you open the email, it is coming from you open it from a different Windows, so that it doesn't get confused. The system doesn't confuse that it's you. This is what the clients will receive, the email. It contain all the instructions, what they expect to see and do, etc. But most often, because when clients open the email, they see the word view document, what they do is go straight into it. But if you show them the first time, it's like the first time, they're unlikely to need to read the instructions anyway. So once they click on that view document, it will open up the applications. It would advise them that the security code has been sent to their email to collect it and put it in here in order to access the email. This is to ensure that the right person is opening the email. So if this email was forwarded to someone else, unfortunately the other person cannot open and view the document. So we open the email again, and there's the security code. Copy that and paste it. Okay, and voila, you see the documents. You notice where I moved the cursor, it's putting my name on it, because I've already used the system previously to sign the documents. But normally, if this is the first time I use it, it will come to this page and will ask me to create a signature. You can upload your own signature. As a client, they can upload, so they can sign it on a piece of paper, take a snapshot of it, and upload onto GovReports. They can draw it or they can type it. So I have chosen to type it. Remember the signature, so that's why it came to that screen where you move the cursor, and you can see that my name is wherever I move the mouse. If I click on it, it will place my signature there. And you can see my signatures there with the stamp of the time and date. Now, I don't like where I place the signature, so I'm going to remove it. The clients will also have the option to see. Notice on the left-hand side, you got menu, and you got right at the bottom, sign all. I can just place the signature automatically using the computer, and it places my signatures right in the middle. And notice it was signed by me from that email with my with the date and time stamp. If I'm happy with that, I can then click finished. Happy. Submit. If I'm not happy with the figures, I will come back and comment it. But if most often clients, if they sometimes they look through the document and they're surprised with the tax amount or something, they can comment on it, and that's for you as a BAS agent to come back to the clients and assist them with it. So once it's been signed, for me as a client, now this is me as a client, I'll get a copy of what I have signed. Yep, what I have signed, and there's a copy, and it's my comment on that as well. So that me as a client, I receive that, and as the sender, let me see if I can get in the sender. The sender, you as the BAS agents or the sender will also get an email notify you that the client has signed the document as well. So for me now, let me just go back to the other screen. So now this is back to GovReport, you as a BAS agent or me as a BAS agent. I'm going to click F5 to refresh the page. So notice it's valid and processing here. So now it's going to change because we have now got the client to sign it. So it's now coming back to you as a signed. Actually, I should go back to the dashboard so you can also see as well. It will also come to your dashboard. So when you log in, you can immediately see that the client has signed it. So there you go, right at the bottom. Okay, so this client has now signed the document, and if I want to go open and view the document, I can do so. But otherwise, I can go to the Save Reports earlier and select all the ones that has been signed. So in this case, we only have one, but otherwise, if you've got multiple, you can tick as many as one of them. You can tick as many reports that has been signed and lodge selected. But like I said, as the A2 is not working today, so I don't think this is not gonna be possible. But that's basically the process. Okay, so similarly, if you have to do other reports, and like I said, other reports, the common or the popular reports that a lot of people use us for is the PAYG payment summaries. As I said, it's regardless of whether your clients use software or don't use software, you can simply just go in and prepare the reports for them. If they don't use software, you can manually data entry it. So I'm just going to show you a process on that as well. So we click on the clients, we go to forms and select the form that you need to prepare for the clients. This is the PAYG payment summary. So like I said, if the clients use software, you can upload the MG file. They don't use software, you can do it manually. We cover all the PAYG payment summaries, so there are 5 options in there. So for example, we're going to do the 16-17 PAYG payment summaries. And if I am assuming that I am the person, and then you can then add the employees. Once you add the employee, you need to select what type of PAYG payment summaries that you need to do for the clients. This is particularly useful for your small business clients that do not use software or use outdated software and are not up to date with some of the legislations. You can simply go in and create the payment summaries for them. Just fill in the details and then save it, and it would then come. You can then send it off for the signature, but otherwise you can also upload the the MG file as well. So I won't go through the process. Go through a little bit more features on the software, and then we'll go to the questions. So this is the client's profile on GovReports. You can see the work in progress for this particular client. As I said, because this is a demo account, I don't have a lot of things that organize or work plan out for the account. So you won't see much on the work in progress, but you can see the client's business of, the general business details, what you have saved or draft for these clients, anything that you've lodged previously for these clients, or the lodge report, so it's easier for you to sort it out. Who in your office have access to this client's account, and any jobs and invoices that you have created for these clients. If this is a new client that you just added into GovReports, you can also directly add the clients into the ATO portal without going to the ATO portal. Now, the only thing that I think a lot of requests from our existing clients is that, our current clients is that asking for the current account balance. This is coming soon. At the moment, we only have the client update, so you can add and delete the clients from the portal directly from GovReports, but not so. The only thing that we still need to implement is the integrated account balance, which will be coming in later this year. So, and of course, if you're no longer managing the clients, you can also put them into archive. If you have lodged anything, it's only come up as archive, but if you have not lodged anything, you can delete the clients from your account. But like I said, if you've done the lodgements, you will only have the options to archive the clients. So there's a lot more to it, but this is basically the basic workflow, or the simple workflow that I've shown you. I hope I have covered enough, but we'll take questions from here. Sam, let me see there where I can see the questions. Sam, do you want to go through the questions? Let me see.
Yeah, no worries. So, Tiana, we've got a question from Esther.
Yep.
And she's asked, when you lodge the BAS, does the client also get a copy automatically or a notification?
No, at the moment you get, as a BAS agent, you get notifications that it's been lodged. It will be sent to your email. We haven't got a system where our system, I think we can do that. I'll take a note of that, that you will have an option to send it directly to your client. But normally, it's for the signed reports. When they digitally sign it, they get a copy, but not when you lodge it. I think it's we'll have that as an option, Esther. It's a good question. Yep.
Thanks, Esther. So we've got another question here. Forgive me if I mispronounce your name. Ingeborg said, who is responsible for the security of the data?
Well, on our system, we encrypt all the data that has been, all the sensitive information that has been entered into the system. So it has always been encrypted. But what we are at this stage, because systematically they can't take the information from GovReports, but at the moment we are also considering of masking the tax file number on the system as well. Security, we do have multi-factor authentications within the system. At the moment, it is optional for use, for client use, but it will be compulsory from 1st of July onward for all clients. So who's that responsible for data security? It depends on, because if you pass on your password, username and password to someone else, unfortunately, it is out of our hands. If there is a like security breach from our if it's found from our system, then it is our responsibilities. But if it's basically found from your side, it is you are as the user responsible for it. So you can refer to our terms and conditions, where there is also the security side of it, the privacy and security side of it, for clarifications if I haven't answered your questions adequately.
Great, thanks, Tiana. We've got another question now from Deb. She's asked, is this system replacing the BAS agent portal?
Well, if you are using the BAS Agents portal, more or less, a lot of our clients use GovReports, and they don't go to the BAS Agents portal at all. The only time that they need to go there is to check out the integrated account balance.
Okay, no worries. So, in other words, it may replace a lot of the functionality, but you'd still use the BAS Agent portal if you need to.
Yeah.
Great. So we've got some questions around pricing from Lynn. Where can people find out that information?
For pricing, it's for our retail pricing for BAS agents is $948 or $79 per month, but for AAT members, they get 50% when they register, when they sign up with us on the first year, and subsequent year they get 20% discount, ongoing discount as an AAT member. But we also have a referral program where if you find out, if you know any existing users who GovReports, which there are plenty, and you can get referred and get additional 20% discount on your first year as well. So
Great.
that works out quite well.
Awesome. Thanks, Tiana. So some good deals there for AAT members. Good to hear. We've got another question. I'll go to Vicky first. She's asked, will this option be available to lodge STP manually if software is not the latest version? So in other words, if the clients aren't using the latest version, is this an option for a workaround for single touch payroll?
Definitely. We are scheduled to release STP in June for lodgement in July, and you would have the options to do it manually if your clients don't use software or use outdated software, as you said earlier. Yep, so that you can go in manually data entry into it. Now, the first time you enter the details, the subsequent time, so if next week you have to do the payment again or the reporting again, you can roll over the details, change the figures, and and lodge. Simple as that.
Awesome. That sounds really good. So now we'll go back to the earlier question. Where is the data housed? Is it hosted in the cloud or elsewhere?
It's hosted in the cloud. Our server are located in Sydney and Melbourne.
Awesome. Okay, so I've got another one here. Just wanting to confirm from Sandra, this isn't going to replace the BAS agent portal.
Well, like I said, a lot of our clients don't use, that use GovReports, they don't need to go back to the portal.
Yeah, so, but I think the other side of just confirming, this isn't a rollout to replace the BAS agent portal.
No, we are not a government, so we are a private entity, so it's not there to replace the BAS agent portal at all. But like I said, people that use GovReports do not need to go to the BAS agents portal.
Brilliant. So yeah, it's a great workaround and solution for a lot of things you'd previously have to do through the portal.
Yep.
Great questions. Do we have any others that people have? Feel free to type them in the group chat and we'll get to them when ready. Okay, I've got another one here from Julie. Thanks, Julie. How do they know the balance of the client's ATO ICA or integrated client account if they don't use the portal?
Like I said, at the moment, the only thing that that our clients come back to the ATO portal is to get the integrated account balance, which is, like I said, unfortunately, we have been working with the ATO to come up with these features since 2012, 13, and we were supposed to release it, but ATO has been holding back, and finally they have come back with the security process that we have to go through in order for ATO to release that. So we are currently going through that as part of the the requirements that ATO has laid out, and we would be able to complete that process by June, July, and from then hopefully we'll be able to implement that integrated account balance for you. But like I said, I don't want to give it a time frame at this stage. I will say that we will have that sometime later this year.
Awesome. So it's a work in progress at the moment. Someone's asked about whether this is mainly a CRM management software.
Well, it's practice management tool with, it's not a CRM. It's definitely not a CRM. But it incorporates the practice management tool and digital signature and lodgement program. So no, not a CRM.
Okay, not a problem. So realistically, it's just streamlining and improving the process with your government reporting and SBR. Is that correct, Tiana?
That's correct. So just think of it for the tax agents, previously they have the ELS software. It's now the PLS software. So it's a software that you can prepare compliance report. It's a software that you, as a BAS agent, prepare compliance report for your clients. For your clients and manage your business workflow. In the past, I understand that a lot of currently many of you are using the portal or using your client's software to prepare and manage reports. But just think of it this way: if the clients later on, no longer your clients, and then move on to another person, or they manage themselves, and then 2 years down the line they get audited, how do you prove that what you did for them, and the lodgement, how do you find the lodgement that you did for them and send it to them if they are not organized and they can't find it? It's difficult. So when it's your own software, and this is the reasons that in the 1980s, 90s, the tax agents moved to ELS software, and hopefully in the longer term, this is going to also, the compliance process for BAS agents as well, in order for them to better manage their compliance, their clients' compliance, and auditing and keep auditing trails, securely or separately from easier.
Awesome. So it's a good independent software system that people can use to make sure that they maintain a history of all their lodgements as well if a client moves on or it needs to be pulled up for an audit.
That's correct.
Awesome. Thanks, Tiana. So we've got another question here from Cassandra. I think what she meant was, do you have all the ATO forms, including refunds for input tax credits for non-profit organizations?
At the moment, no. I don't think we have that. We have all the ATO normal, all the ATO form, including the activity statements, the PAYG, tax file number declarations, taxable payment annual reports, and all the payroll tax. But I'm certain that we don't have the refunds or the input tax credits for non-profit organization. I think that's will be part of the lodgement programs, the lodgement list from the ATO, which I'm not too sure when the ATO will release that. I don't think anyone has that at the moment as well.
Okay, so just to clarify then, can I please confirm the main reports that you do have, just to confirm it so that everyone's across that?
Yep, so activity statement, all the IAS and the business activity statements, PAYG payment summaries, which will, be later on replaced by single touch payroll gradually, tax file number declarations, taxable payment annual reports. What else is there? All the payroll tax to all the state and territories, and of course single touch payroll when that comes in from June this year.
Okay, awesome. So all the key reports that people are using on a regular basis, basically across most industries, you guys cover.
Yep, and this is for BAS agents. Of course, for tax agents, it's a lot more extensive. All the tax returns as well.
Okay, great. So we've got both covered. Awesome. We've had, just to confirm for everyone, if anyone's popped in late as well, we are recording today's session. So if you've missed out on anything, you can reach out and we'll make sure it goes out in an email. Also, anyone who has registered to attend and wasn't able to make it will get a copy as well. If you'd like a copy, just send us an email. We'll make sure that gets to you as well. So did we have any other questions for Tiana?
While we waiting for someone else to come back with the questions, with additional questions, I forgot to mention we do have 30 days free trial on our website. So you still can go for the 30 days free trial. Just make sure you we do have existing webinars that we have done on the website as well, to navigate through and showing you through a lot more details as to the process, how to set up email settings, and also what other features are there. You can also pull up historical BAS from, even though it was not lodged from by you, as well from GovReports. There are features that are available which I did not go through today, but if you go through the website, you can also have access to previous webinar that we've done, and go for the free trial. So make the most use of it. And a lot of, like, I hate it when people sign up and for the free trial, but they never use they don't use the system within that time and realize it's too late. So just make sure when you do sign up for free trial, you do have a look at the webinar, or just make the most use of it. Then you decide how it's going to work for you.
Awesome. Always good to have a try before you buy. And just a reminder, as Tiana said, there is a 50% discount for AAT members.
Yep.
So if you do decide to go ahead with it after the 30 days, there is a 50% discount. We've got a great question here. So everyone often asks this question about the software providers for accounting software. So in terms of GovReports, what happens to the data when you cease to use GovReports?
Okay, because we do maintain it for 5 years. However, if you're no longer a subscriber, you cannot get access to it. If before you do cease to use the program, you can extract the data, you can get the copies of all the lodgement that you make. Just make sure you have all the copies. Like I said, for us, we don't, because of compliance, we don't get access to your account. We simply just close your account and inactivate the account completely. Now, like I said, I'm not too sure people understand the compliance that we have to go through as a software provider, and it's just the amount of security and the amount of privacy that we have to go through, and this is one of them that we cannot, like a lot of people, if people come back to us and say, look, they need to get into it because they, the clients got audited, etc. If in that case, you do need to resubscribe and reactivate the account. Like I said, for us, even as a software provider, we don't have access to your accounts. If you do, when you do, call up for support, etc., normally we don't ask you for your details. We support you directly. We are coming up with a support system where we have, if you request for us to go into your account to assist you with whatever inquiries that you have, it will be track and trace, and it will be given authorizations by you, because like I said, because of security, some of these things are not possible. But like I said, if you resubscribe, you would have access to it. But if you see subscription with us, make sure you get copies of all your lodgements.
Great. So there is the option to resubscribe. Otherwise, you can export the data before terminating the subscription. So there's options there for you. Great. Thanks, Tiana. We've got another question here from Julie. She said, apologies, she missed the first part. If this has already been covered, sorry about that. But can you import data straight into activity statements from accounting software such as MyOb and Xero to prevent double entry?
You certainly can. Like I said, we are integrated with MYOB and Xero. With MYOB, if the clients use the cloud versions, you can export the data directly into GovReports. With Xero, it's also there. Now with Xero, I have to admit though, if the clients are registered for Simpler BAS, unfortunately Xero has not given us access to these data. They have removed our access to these data, so it means that you would have to re-data entry. Having said that, I have heard around from some users, if you remove them from Simpler BAS from Xero, then you can extract the data.
Okay, great. Yeah, and that is an option with that software, so there is a workaround. So basically, you do integrate with MYOB and Xero, is what you're saying.
Yep, and we also integrate with, in case you didn't hear from us as well, we also integrate with Sage One, Reckon One. Who else is there? Thomson Reuters and NetSuite, but I think those are the corporate ones, so we haven't got it into the BAS agents ones, but yeah, we integrate with most of everyone, and Intuit as well, Intuit QuickBooks.
Okay, awesome. So all the main providers really there are covered, and some extra as well. We've got a question here about how do you apply for a free trial?
Free trial is directly from the website. So if you go into the website, go into Bass Agents, and there's a free trial link that you can go straight into it. If you can't get access to, just give us a call, make sure that it's there. If you already, like went somewhere that not supposed to be and it's not giving you access, just make sure you give us a call before you do, before you sign up and go, oh my God, it's not there. It's definitely on the website.
Okay, perfect. And I've just posted the GovReports website link into the chat so that everyone can click on that if they'd like to. And then you said it's under the Bass Agent header, is that correct?
Yep. So you go to the Bass Agents, ignore the pricing there. Like I said, as soon as we're going to work out with the AAT as well as to how we are going to identify you as the AAT members, there's a 30 days free trial. If you click on that, that will take you straight there into the free trial registrations. Cool.
Awesome. We do have another question from Cassandra. Is there by any chance a price reduction for infrequent users or one entity users?
Infrequent users. What do you mean by infrequent? We do have an on-demand package on our website. If just let me go back, it's the on-demand is for those people that have very little use of the lodgements. It's there for you to, you could get access to the platform with the practice management tool and digital signature. With digital signature, I forgot to mention to you that you can also send your own documents. So it's not just like GovReports compliance documents. You can also go into it and just let me go back. So where you here, let me just make sure that I'm still here. So this is can you all see my screen? Sandy,
Yep.
can you still see my screen?
Yep.
Okay, so this is the digital signature dashboard where you send the documents earlier. So you can click to send a document, and you can also then lock down. Oh, wrong password. Typical. Sorry, I'm just going to go back.
You're right.
I'm not one of those that remember my password very well, so I'm just. My computer does remember my password, so hopefully it's still there. Cool. Yep. So like I said, you can send your own letter of engagement, your own letter of contract, work that is outside of GovReports as well. So we go back to it. To go back to the dashboard of digital signature, we click on that. And you can send your own documents. Just upload, it will take you to the screen. You can upload your own files. Like I said, letter of engagement, contracts that you have with your staff, etc. You can upload anything. We don't care. We only accept PDF. So like I said, the same process that you will have to go through. This will not come back onto your signed reports because it's not part of the reports lodgement, the compliance report lodgement. To remind you, you will have to go back to the dashboard to review it, remind it, or whatever. So yeah, it's quite flexible.
Great. I think a lot of people will find that useful to have everything in one spot. We have hit 1:30. So are there any final questions for Tiana before we wrap up the session today, guys?
And sorry, I did not answer Cassandra's questions fully. So we do have the on-demand package, and like I said, you get access to the platform, digital signature, and the practice management tool. Lodgement, any lodgement that you make will be, the additional fees per lodgement, and that's $13.75 per lodgement. For single touch payroll, it will be cheaper. At this stage, we haven't finalized the pricing for single touch payroll, but we will come out with it before we've officially released it in June. And so if you infrequently use, perhaps the on-demand options is the right package for you.
Okay, great. Perfect. Well, thanks, Tiana. We really appreciate you taking the time out to present GovReports to us today. A lot of value there. Just a reminder for everyone that attended, we'll make sure a link is available for the recording of today's webinar. As for anyone who didn't make it to today's webinar, thanks for attending. Thank you, Tiana.
Thanks, everyone. Thanks, Sam.